Good evening, Facebook, YouTube. Good evening, Real Money Coach family. We are so excited about tonight. Listen, I got two ladies that are going to join me tonight that is so dynamic. I'm just elated and thinking about the show tonight. Really, really excited. So listen, you know how we do on the Real Money Coach. Please put into the chat box where you are watching from. Let me know how you're doing today. How you doing? It's a hot day. Man, it feels like we're like I didn't have weather like this when I was back in Michigan until July, and here it is, 90 degrees, and so man. But I'm just so excited about tonight because we're going to learn from a master. You guys who might have saw the social media post, or maybe you got the email. She is all about business. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about all about business, and we have an expert with us. And like I said, I'm just really, really excited about it. And listen, folks, just make sure that you put your comments, your thoughts, everything in the chat box. And listen, share this on your page. Share it. Start a watch party if you still do that. I don't know. Facebook changes all the time. Y'all know I don't know anything about social media. I'm just here. So make sure you share this with your on your page, your family and friends. Listen, we got Brad Hudson who is in the house. Brad, please tell your lovely wife I said happy birthday today. Miss Alice Martin, thank you for being here. She said she's doing well in Charlotte. Listen, we are really, really excited about a couple things that we have going. Again, tonight our show is going to be all about business. We try to just bring you something each and every week that will help grow your business, right? Help grow your business. And tonight we have someone that's going to talk to us about. She is an expert business coach. Hello, V from Florida, Tampa Bay, Florida's in the house. Thank you for being here. Good to see you yesterday in the clubhouse on the Every Dot Black room. Listen, if you guys haven't done anything in Clubhouse yet, you got to get on there. April, thank you for being here from the Queen City. Listen, we have a great show for you ladies tonight. Brad, man, we're going to get something out of this too, guys. We're going to get something out of it too. I'm just excited because I'm always in the mood to learn different things, different methods, what's working. And when you have an expert that comes in a part of it, man, that just makes it all that much better. And I feel like I'm just so blessed, everyone, because I get a chance to sit and learn from some of the very best. And I get them from here, I get them from there, and then I can bring them all together and share them with other people. And that's one of the wonderful things about being a coach and teaching classes is that you pick up a lot of things in different places that you go, and then you're able to share that with others. Miss Ruth Bell, thank you for being here this evening. You are a gem to us as well. These are consistent people on the show each and every week. And so we're just really, really happy. I'm kind of geeked tonight, to be honest with you. Feel a little goofy, but I'm geeked. Listen, I want to do this right now. As you guys know, my very good friend from back in the day, Dr. Benita Harris, nice to have you here. Great to talk to you this week. My friend from back in the day. I mean, she knew me when I think in one of the very first classes that we had at Western Michigan University together. And so she tells some stories. They're not always completely true. Thank you, Linda, for being with us tonight. But she's a very, very good friend. And I want to bring her on the stage. You guys know her. She's no stranger to the Real Money Coach. I want to bring in Mrs. Michelle Mitchell. Michelle, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing so good. I'm doing
Good.
really good. I'm doing really good.
Good to be
Listen,
here again.
Michelle, Oscar, thank you for being here as well. Michelle, I was just, as I was talking about how we met way back in the day, right? I was thinking about the story that that's in the book, in the first chapter of the book, or second chapter, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you about this whole stereo thing, right? This whole stereo thing. And go on campus, and you remember they have all the creditors that's there. The first
Oh yeah.
And so I ended up getting a Sears credit card, right? And I go and I buy this stereo, and I buy this stereo. Hey, Chad, how you doing from Ohio? He's with us tonight. And so I buy this stereo, and I'm in Hokie Hall, right? And so on the campus of Western Michigan University, this is a 300-watt stereo. It is just blasting, right? Now, I didn't even think about the fact that I had to pay that money back. Right? That part escaped me, right? I just wanted the stereo. So it was bad, man. And so it's interesting because in the book I talk about even when I proposed to Elisa, I still had that stereo 5 years later. And you know what? I was still paying for it.
Right.
5 years later.
5 years later. 5 times more than what it was worth. Yeah.
And if you saw my Facebook post, I mean, I had a little fun with that about how, when we first started going together and all that good stuff. So, but lots of great fond memories over the years, but learning about how to handle your money.
Yes.
It's so important. We need to do that. We need to learn about you need to learn about compound interest, right? Because it can work for you or
against you.
Right? The rule of 72.
Yeah.
And I think Albert Einstein said this. He said the rule of 72 was the 8th wonder of the world. Those who understand it get it. Those who don't pay it.
Right.
And so that's very interesting to me. So what have you been up to? Tell me what's been going on in your week.
My week has been really good. Really busy. I got some good news today about being featured in a book.
Share it. You got to share that.
I like this author. His name is Mike Michalowicz, and he wrote the book Profit First. So Profit First is all about eradicating entrepreneurship poverty and teaching business owners how to manage their cash flow so that they have money to do the things that they need in their business, pay their taxes, and pay themselves. And Mike Michalowicz he's written several books, but he wrote another book called Clockwork. And basically is to systematize your business so that the owner can step away and the business runs by itself like a real CEO is supposed to do. And I'm part of that program. And I just got a request today to be interviewed for his revised book as one of the case studies. So that's pretty exciting. I'm really excited about that interview.
Congratulations.
Yes. Because everybody didn't get picked, right?
Everybody doesn't get picked,
right?
Someone's book. And I think it's really special when you're being picked to go into another edition of a book too, because that means that there's something that you're adding of value that's greater than what was there before. Because we could have all the same authors, come in the second time, but when you're asked to be a contributing author, when you're going down that road, I think that's so awesome. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Listen, I want to do this before we want to guess. This is just on my mind. I picked this up today, right? And this is a conversation I had with someone, and this is where our conversation went, right? It said, and I want to get your opinion on this. Money is the reward for solving problems. Okay. So as a business owner, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Or you get paid for solving a problem.
Yes.
You get paid for solving a problem. So if you're struggling as a business owner, then there's three things in relation to that could be the reason. Number one, you're solving the wrong problem.
Yeah.
Okay, that could be a problem. Number two, you're solving the right problem, but for the wrong people.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Number three, you're solving the right problem, but with the wrong attitude.
Yep.
And so these were three things that we said that causes businesses to struggle.
Yeah.
Is that and where I think a lot of people are is in that middle piece.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're solving the right problem, but for the wrong people.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? They don't want to pay you.
They don't want to pay you.
They don't want to pay you. And so
the one thing I've learned from the guests that we got coming on is that you got to be talking to the right people.
You got to be talking to the right people.
Yes.
And so I was thinking about that just in conversations that we've had. And when this came out, as I was talking to this client today, and we were kind of talking about these three things, and he said, yeah, that's my problem. I've been solving the right problem, but for the wrong people. So people take my advice and they go and they make a lot of money, and I don't get paid anything.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're talking about entrepreneurship, I thought that would be a really good lead-in discussion for you and I to have. And then we'll bring in Julie and let her unpack, that even more.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I know you are too.
I am. I'm very excited.
So this is what I'd love for you to do. I'd love for you to just kind of introduce the guest. I have her bio. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Y'all can go to online and read her bio. But Michelle works with her closely. And so I thought it would be awesome for you to introduce our guest and bring her on stage with us.
All right. So today, our special guest is Julie Gordon White. Julie Gordon White has been amazing in the transformation of my business. Like literally, I took the tools that she taught me and I actually implemented them. And you can see the fruit of that in my business today. Julie is a business coach. She's an entrepreneur. She's bought and sold businesses. Like she's made several $1 million buying and selling businesses. She's an author. And she just launched a new company. And I'll let her talk to you about that. She just launched a new company in the product sector. So she's been, a buyer seller. She's been a coach. She's been an author. And now she's into products. So this woman, you talk about business, she means business. So please join me on the stage, Julie. And so we can unpack this question that Tony has.
There she is.
There she is.
Look at the writing in the background. Yeah.
Awesome.
You guys are doing such a great job. I think you should just keep going with the show.
No, we got to bring in the resident expert.
Right.
But before we do that, Julie, I got to ask you something. What kind of student is Michelle? I mean,
is this the during the show conversation or that?
We'll have that offline. How about that? We'll have that conversation.
Okay.
Because when we get together, her husband and her husband and me and my wife, I need a little dirt, man. I need a little something, So I'll contact you afterwards.
Okay. Well, here's the quick version. Of course, she's an excellent student. She's Michelle Mitchell. Come on, she is an excellent student. But I'll have to tell on you a little bit, Michelle. So as we're growing her business and she's expanding bigger than what she was thinking was possible for her. She was working on her webinar, her marketing piece, and she was all ready to go. And all of a sudden she has laryngitis. She's sick. She has a cold. I'm like, oh, growing a little faster than you planned, huh, Michelle? You know, because that's what happens. And I'd love to talk a little bit more about mindset as we get going. But she found her place and she just applied everything. She's such a good student. And now her business is on fire. I recommend my clients to her. That's how much I trust and value what she provides and who she is as an entrepreneur and as an expert in her space. So there you go.
Awesome.
No dirt. No dirt.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Michelle. It's top notch. So I'm blessed to have both of you here tonight. And I'm like sandwiched in between these two powerhouse ladies tonight. And you know, this is the year of the sister anyway. So where else could I be? So if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about you and your journey, and then we'll just kind of take it from there.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you for having me. It's just an honor. I've watched your show. I know what you do. It's so important. I believe that, and we're going to be speaking more to women, but I have 2 sons and a husband, so I'm always speaking to all the men in my life too. But I know that, you know, deep in my heart, I've given a TEDx talk about that women need to know how to make their own money. They need to be empowered. They shouldn't be afraid of money. They shouldn't be afraid to talk about it. They shouldn't be afraid to make a lot of it. And that came out of me when I was 10 years old, Tony. I started selling. I was that weird kid. I sold stuff door to door when I was 10. I'm aging myself now. On the back of comic books, there was this little box where you could fill out the form and send it in, and they would send you garden seeds to sell, and then you keep your commission and send the rest of the money back. Like, who would ever do that now, right? So I did that. I think that was my version of the lemonade stand, or, you know, a paper route. And I sold all these flower seeds, and I was like, wow, you mean like if I offer this, then I get that? You know, this is cool. And it wasn't that I couldn't ask my parents or something. I just liked the feeling that if I did this work and did this exchange of value, I didn't call it that at the time, got money to do what I wanted to do, like buy a new bicycle or something like that, or save. So that gave me the bug way back then. Fast forward, went through college. And then after college, I worked for an investment firm. So I worked for a Wall Street, and had to cold call out of phone books. And, you know, so I learned the really hard ropes of sales. You know, you couldn't leave until you had 10 appointments, the manager's banging on the desk. And here I am, you know, this young woman in my little seersucker suit. But, you know, I learned so much. And then from there, but I figured that wasn't for me. So I worked in the hospitality industry. So I ended up becoming director of sales and marketing in Sheraton Hotels in San Francisco for 8 years, and then national sales. And then this little kid came along, Scotty, my oldest, who's now 28. And I was traveling all the time, and it just wasn't conducive to the mom I wanted to be. So I left, and that's when I started my first company. I don't know if you know this, Michelle, probably, with an old boss, and it was a smart card based startup. You know, the American Express Blue Card with this. Well, cards now all have smart chips on them, but in 1996, only American Express and our silly little startup had smart cards. So we were way ahead. We had not enough money, all these good things. So we made a 2-year run at it. Didn't work. Then came along Georgia, my daughter, who's now 22. And I thought, okay, this is enough. And so my husband's family, and I think your audience can appreciate this, owns a funeral home. And they said, well, now that you're not consulting, can you come work in our funeral home? And I said, absolutely not. I am not going to work in a funeral home. No way. And they said, well, you can bring your new baby. And I'm like, okay, I'll figure this out. So Georgia and I set up, and I ended up running the company, increasing the profitability by 300%, learning everything about financial statements and balance sheets. And I loved it. So I decided I was going to buy my own funeral home. So I found one, and I made an offer, put together a whole deal team. I didn't get the funeral home because I didn't bid high enough, but I realized, whoa, I really love doing the deal. That was the cool part. So I ended up working for the company that was representing the seller. I worked for them for 2 years, and then I said, I knew when I started with them that I was going to start my own company. So then I started 2 companies at the same time: Flower Shop Brokers, that's a weird thing, I'll tell you in a second, and Blue Key Mergers and Acquisitions. So when I was working for that other firm, I was the only woman out of 25 brokers, business brokers in the office. And so anytime we had like a girly business, they would give it to me. This is for you. And if you know me, I don't like that. However, I ended up becoming an expert in the floral industry. So I became known in San Francisco as the only person to go to sell your floral related company. So that just grew and grew. And then people would refer me other kinds of companies. And I ended up selling, multi-million-dollar consulting, manufacturing, distribution. So that's between the funeral home and deal making is how I learned pretty much everything about small business and growth.
Wow.
So then the recession hit. Yeah. So that's a lot, right? That's a lot. And I had a third kid in there too, by the way, Blake. He'll be sweating on the weekend. So you have to know me. I kind of like to do everything at the same time. But then the recession hit and we had our best year ever, $5 million, amazing. But then there was no financing for deals. So what am I going to do? So what do you do when you're having a pity party? Write a book, right? So I wrote a book called Exit, 12 Steps to Sell Your Business for the Price You Deserve. It's on Amazon. I make $6 every time someone buys it, but it's more of a way to share what I learned over those 9-10 years forward. So business owners can understand whether you're a seller, buyer, or neither. You understand what makes a business valuable in the marketplace. So a lot of women don't really want to sell their companies, but I want to teach them how to build companies that are someday sellable. Because when you build a company that's sellable, you're going to enjoy running it so much more. You're not going to Frankenstein it together, running by the seat of your yoga pants. You're going to have real systems, processes, and build value. Then you get the pot of gold at the end. So that's almost up to last summer. I'll take a breath here. Go ahead.
Well, you packed a lot in there. I thought it was interesting. I don't know why I'm just drawing this correlation, flowers and funeral, and it's like, and then it made me think of this conversation I had the other day. Lisa and I was listening to, I don't know, Eric Campbell or something, and they were talking about, like funerals and flowers. Like, don't put I think it was like, don't put my flowers on me, give them to me, right? So don't wait until I'm stretched out to give me my flowers. Don't put them on me, give them to me. And so I don't know, it just made me think about that.
Connecting those two things.
And so you're teaching and coaching businesses to develop this valuation that makes it appealing to a buyer. So what are some of the things that you would advise a business owner to do to kind of grow their business, so that, because a lot of people have great businesses, I imagine, but it's not sellable.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Well, that's an interesting thought. What I know is that all businesses are sellable at the right price and terms. Mm-hmm. Might not be the price you want, might not be the cash up front that you thought you were going to get, but your business is sellable. You might not be able to exit and step aside when it happens, but all businesses are sellable. I've sold consulting companies that are named after people, but they were valuable enough, they were profitable enough, they were willing to stick around long enough so the buyer didn't feel concerned that all the customers were going to go out the door as soon as they left. So having the right deal structure and terms really dictate a final exit. So there's a lot of pieces. That's the art of the deal. That's the fun part. So what I taught women is how to build businesses, service companies that are scalable. Because what you don't want to do is build something that's so custom that you can't repeat it, you can't teach it to anyone, and you definitely can't scale it. So it must be repeatable, teachable in order to be scalable. So by doing that, many entrepreneurs, men and women, start service companies that are so customized that they're the only ones who can do it, versus finding that sweet spot that target customer wants over and over, and building a methodology around that, a documented process. Michelle's like, I know. A documented, I could give my talk, a documented process so you can teach someone else. And then the other part of that, Tony, is you better be charging what it is worth, because if you're not charging what it's worth, one, the client is not going to show up and do the work. Two, you're not going to have enough margin to bring in other people.
Sure. And all that's very important in terms of establishing scale. I mean, and it seems like that's one of the biggest challenges of a lot of businesses is how do you get scale? And we love to talk about scale. We always think of it in terms of just money, but I think there's a lot of other elements to developing scale other than I got to go out and borrow more money to hire people. That's not the answer to scale.
Not on the service side. When we talk about products, you need a lot of money to scale.
Yeah.
But on the service side, you have such a healthy margin in service that if you are priced properly, you don't need outside capital. A lot of women would ask me, do I need to go get venture capital or angel money? Absolutely not. If you have a methodology really meets a need and you dial it in and you're able to deliver it consistently over and over, you're pricing it properly, now you're able to bring in other people. And that's really what Michelle was doing all of the work herself. And then she realized, like, I think I want to grow this and I don't want to do all the work. So finding the parts of her business that are repeatable and then creating systems around that, she's able to teach other people. And now she has more freedom to be fancy and get interviewed for other people's books.
And go on vacation for 4 weeks.
I know.
Right?
I'm going on vacation.
That is right.
I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks next month. Like,
beautiful.
It's our first 2-week vacation, but my team can handle it.
They can handle it.
They can handle it. Yeah.
Well, and Michelle's, how much have I traveled over the time that you've known me?
Like I wouldn't live Julie's life. She's hardly ever at home until COVID hit. No, I'm serious. Julie was hardly ever in her home office until COVID. Like she was in Hawaii, she was in Lake Tahoe, she was in Las Vegas. Like she was always Jamaica, Bahamas. Yeah, she was everywhere, but she would run her business from there. Yeah,
from there, and had a wonderful team of coaches and admin and support like Michelle. But that goes also, Tony, to building your business intentionally by design.
Yeah.
What lifestyle, and most service companies are lifestyle companies, and what lifestyle do you want to have? So do you want to be in an office? Good on you. That's awesome. Do you want to be able to run your company from anywhere? Fabulous, but be intentional about that, because I always say if you're not intentional, you might accidentally be really successful at something you don't love, and that's a problem.
Right. Wow.
So don't do that.
And that's a horrible, feeling, is like feeling like you're locked in. You're stuck because you're stuck because you're really good at the business and you maybe get dependent even on the income and the lifestyle, but yet you hate getting up, going to work every day. And if it feels like work, because I imagine, I know for me, a lot of what I do doesn't feel like work. It just feels like,
I work all the time.
I just talk to people all the time, right? I talk to them about their money. I talk to them about their insurance, their retirement, and I enjoy it. And so it doesn't feel like work most of the time.
But also, going back to your question about solving the right problem for the right audience.
There we go.
You got to have both.
You got to have both.
Yeah. And Julie is really good about helping you become aware of that and how to really define what that is.
Have you shared our business love triangle, Michelle?
No.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I'm listening.
So I teach our clients something I call the business love triangle. And that is love who you serve what you love, and serve it with those who love both. So love who you serve. Obviously, Tony, you love who you serve. That's why you're having all those conversations and it feels like fun. right? Because you love who you are serving with your superpowers in the world. And that's really important because as an entrepreneur, not every day is easy. And so if you're going to stay up late and get up early and lick envelopes or whatever you need to do to get to the finish line, you want to love who you're serving. You want to care about that customer. And then you got to serve what you love, going back to what we talked about, because maybe you love the customer, but you don't love the work. That's another problem.
Right.
So you got to love the work. You've got to be not in your skill set. A lot of people are really good at things, but that doesn't mean those are their superpowers. Superpowers are things you do better than other people that you love to do. And we have to be careful, especially women, for all the women listening, because women, we tend to get excited because, first of all, we can do a lot, right? We're raising kids, raising husbands. Oops, sorry, did I say that? Raising businesses. We're doing a lot. And so it feels good when people ask you to do things. How about, can you be on this board, or can you help out in this committee, or these things? But you have to be careful because you might end up moving too far out of your lane and you're out of your superpower. So you got to love who you serve what you love. And then in order to scale, because business growth is a team sport, I learned that from Professor Linda Applegate at Harvard Business School, a class I had the privilege of attending. I never forgot that. I love sports, by the way. So you'll hear me. I'm a baseball freak. So Michelle knows that. Go Giants. That's what I'm going to say. And so it's a team sport. You cannot grow a business without a bench. You can't grow a business without other people. Otherwise, you burn out. You stop delivering, with what you offer, who you are, your promises, and you can't grow beyond your own bandwidth. So that's the whole thing. Love who you serve what you love, and serve it with those who love both. You got to have that team, and they better love all those other pieces, or it doesn't work.
Right. That's right.
That's awesome.
Magic.
Now, one of the questions that came up in the chat box was, can you give a generic definition of scale? So that kind of goes back to that scale question. So
yeah,
wants to know what's a generic, how would you describe scale?
Okay, here's the hashtag real talk. Okay, it's just a business term. It just means growing. It means growing at a little faster clip than 20% a year. Most businesses were excited to grow in the old days at 5, 10, 20% clip a year. Scale is a little bit faster than that. You get to define. So it's a great question. And I'm sorry I didn't address that up front, but really it's a marketing term. When we're talking about technology and things like that, they've got their own definition. But for most of us here who are excited about growing $1 million business on the service side, scaling is really about putting in those systems so the business can grow exponentially without you having to do all this custom work all the time, because you can't repeat it. Scale has a lot to do with repeatability, and then you can grow quickly.
So we're not talking about adding, we're talking about multiplying. We're talking about
10x, baby. 10x. Yeah. Well, actually, I actually say 7x, $1 million, right? $1 million service company is going to give you an incredible lifestyle. And if you can get to $1 million, then you can keep going from there.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's the key. But in order to do that, you got to have the right mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's get into mindset. All right. Let's get into mindset.
This is where Julie got the morning juice, right? She used to do morning juice on YouTube.
Yeah, mindset. I can teach anyone the strategies and tactics to get to where they want to go, but we all have a belief system that we've gathered up through our years, whether it's as a child, as an adult. We don't want to blame parents because we always blame parents. And now that I'm a parent of 3, I don't want to blame anything my mom and dad did. No, I have great parents. But life experiences pile on. And so we build beliefs that we don't understand are the reasons why we don't achieve what we achieve. Limiting beliefs that hold us back. I call them gators, like alligators that are in the night, like biting at your rear, you know, they're like, getting you the whole time. But I call them gators because the way we handle fear, the way we handle gators is you just line up all those gators and you run across their back. You leverage that fear to go from where you are to where you need to go. Because we're all afraid. I'm always afraid. That's part of the fun of it. It's part of the juice, right? If you're not a little bit afraid, then you're not pushing yourself probably as much as you can.
You're too comfortable.
You're too comfortable. It's like when I was skiing. I'm getting hot in here. You guys are getting me all excited. I'm getting hot. Okay. So when I used to be on a ski team when I was a kid, and the ski coach would say, if you don't fall, you are not pushing yourself hard enough. You know, you're just trying to look cute in your ski outfit, but we're here to get better. So you better be in the snow at least once a day. And that's what happens in business. You need to push yourself, but be aware. Be aware if you find yourself wanting to take a nap in the middle of the day, or wanting to go to the refrigerator too many times, or let me see what's on Netflix, just one show, you know, because those are all ways that our body is protecting us from the saber-toothed tiger in the business that's about to eat us, right? The fear that we have. So if you recognize it, you can welcome it. It is never going to go away. It is never. You just need to harness it and make it your partner. Put it in the seat. I say make it your business partner, but just put it in the chair over here and don't let it drive the car, because that's when you start sabotaging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's good. Good. So fear should be a passenger, but don't let them behind the wheel. Don't let them behind the wheel, right?
Because if you act like it's not there, you're doing equal damage to yourself.
Right.
If you're acting like I'm not afraid, or I've got this, or not acknowledging what might be happening, even though if you're not getting the result that you want, then you're actually making it worse. So just call it out. Then it can't get you.
And it's a natural part of our nervous system to have fear, and sometimes, especially especially in the religious community, we're like, well, faith. No fear. Faith and fear cannot live together. Well, if fear wasn't important, it wouldn't be in the Bible. I mean, there's fear, like fear of the Lord. There's fear, and if we ignore it, then I love that, because it's just like, if I don't have some fear, if I'm not a little nervous about getting on that Zoom with that next customer, then I'm not going to be as sharp as I could be. But because if there's a little edge there, then it makes me my better self without it controlling and consuming you. So
absolutely, it's a business partner. Use it to your advantage. And I understand, because when you have faith in what you do, you have faith in God, faith in a higher power, then that's part of what helps pull you through the fear. But fear is a natural emotion. It's what keeps us safe. It's why we don't put our hand on the stove when it's hot, is that fear. However, when strength overused becomes a weakness. Okay. Fear over leverage becomes a weakness. If you're, I'm a wonderful coach, but if I coach before people give me permission, then I'm out of my lane, right? So you have to watch that you don't overuse strength. And in this case, we're talking about fear, because it will hold you back. Becomes a weakness.
It does.
I like that.
And Julie be breaking them down too. Like
strength overused becomes a weakness. That's deep. That's deep. That's worth unpacking. Strength overused becomes a weakness. I'm gonna be meditating on that.
Okay, good.
Let me
know what you come up with. Yeah. Yeah, think about it. Think about somebody, just in the obvious sense, lifting weights, a bodybuilder. If you overlift, right, you overuse your strength, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Versus doing reps and having progressive overload, so you get a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger, versus like, I'm just going to go in the gym and lift this huge thing, and now you're out. You're out. You have to recover. Same thing.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about team and teamwork. Give us a little Juliisms when it comes to working with others and as a team. because we're talking about scale. We're talking about having the right people. We always say, you know, having the right people on the bus and the right seats. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I love talking about team. Well, because Michelle is on my team, right? So I love that. But
I saw a picture on your website.
he's fancy. Yeah. So one of the modules I teach in the program is your 7X organization. So I want you to visualize, let's just use $1 million because that's easy. Your $1 million firm, your $1 million company, who is on the bus? Who is on your org chart? Big piece of paper, Post-its, put your name at the top. Who are all the people that need to help you make that vision come true? And here's the deal. And this is an E-Myth concept, actually, the great book, the E-Myth. Your name is going to be in all the boxes in the beginning, right? But the goal is to swap out your name with other people. But if you don't have the vision of who should be on the bus, then you won't be able to identify them when they come walking by.
Right.
So you need to know who they are, first of all, in your own mind, in your own vision. Make it
now, let me ask you, Julie, when you're doing that, are you defining on those Post-it notes the role, or are you saying is it a role or is it a who? You know what I mean?
Well, it's a role. So it's always a role because the who could change.
Right.
Yeah. The who could change.
I just wanted to clarify that. That's what I thought you meant.
Okay.
But some people's like, yeah,
not like my
sister Betty. This
right.
is this girl, you know. But we want the roles
absolutely
that we need to make this, and that's very good.
Yep.
Accountant, director of marketing, human resource. And so let me just back up by saying, for all young companies, and if you don't have this, go back and get it. You need to have 2 people on your team as ASAP. ASAP. Number 1, an assistant, a virtual assistant, a part-time virtual assistant. They don't have to be half-time. You shouldn't be paying them on retainer. You will run out of money. You won't even be delegating to them. And that's when people say, oh, assistants don't work for me. Well, it's because you didn't have the right structure. So a virtual assistant that you can buy a certain number of hours from, and then you start to delegate over time. Delegation is a whole different conversation. But so that's your first person. The other person is a bookkeeper. Do not do your own QuickBooks. Don't do it. It's a mistake. Look at Michelle, right? Don't do it. Okay, QuickBooks Online, Simple Start, whatever those things are, Michelle, they have so many now. Can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? No. You're out of your lane. Okay, you can find someone, especially in the beginning, who is reasonable, who can help you with that. So take those 2 things off. And then you've got your people, your chart, and then you start with job descriptions. So of the people that you want next, what are those job descriptions? Because you have to know when somebody, when you want to find somebody, you want a social media manager. I'm not a huge fan of social media managers out of the gate, just by the way. I'd rather you generate leads instead of followers.
Right.
You catch that, Tony? Leads before followers.
Leads before followers. Yep, got it.
Fortune before followers.
I love that. I got to play lead before follow. I got you.
Leads before followers.
I think that's interesting. I would love to kind of stay there for a second.
Okay,
because I think we're in this society where we're all about social media. How many leads? How many likes do I have? But if those leads and likes don't turn into customers, if they don't turn into leads, then you're paying a lot of money to be popular.
Right.
Yeah.
So
we want leads. So let's be clear. Likes are not leads. Okay.
Right.
You can turn a like into a lead over time, but a lead is somebody who has seen your advertising, marketing, responded, raised their hand, wants to have a conversation, is interested in what you offer. That is a bona fide lead. Likes, followers, not so much.
They're vanity metrics. They are.
What she said. Yes.
Uh-oh, Tony's frozen.
I know. I was going to say he's really pondering that comment.
Yeah. Yeah, but social media, it can be a rabbit hole. And I have people tell me all the time, well, I'm posting all the time, but I never get any new clients. Yeah, because you're posting all the time.
Right.
Like there should be a strategy to that if you're going to go down that content marketing, rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
And that's not what you taught us. You taught us to get a lead, not a metric.
Not just
Right.
oh, they like me.
Right.
So Michelle, let's just guess that people are now saying, well, how do I get those leads? Right.
Right.
So I believe that every business needs to advertise.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why small businesses get so excited about social media and content creation is because it's free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's okay. But and you can grow slowly and organically. No judgment, right? This is a no judgment zone. But if you want to grow faster and more profitably with the right clients, the right people raising their hands, because a lot of women say, oh, she can't afford my stuff, or and it's because they're not talking to the right people. Oh, here he is.
Internet just went kaboom. So,
we just blew it up over there, Tony.
Awesome.
So
I'm gonna go back and listen to the replay about the leads versus the likes and all that kind of good stuff. So that was interesting.
We were filling in the blanks about advertising as a way to generate qualified leads versus to grow faster with the right audience, with the right customer. Going back to what you said in the beginning about the right person with the right problem. Mm-hmm. So when you are advertising, then you're speaking because you're using language and copywriting and messaging that lets the right person raise their hand. They know you're speaking to them. Mm-hmm. And that's how people say yes. They move through your marketing system and they become leads because they're interested in what you have to say, not because they're just on their phone somewhere, like and follow, like and like it. It's not the same.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Great distinction on that. And so you mentioned we virtual assistant, bookkeeper, social media manager, advertiser.
No, we were just, that was hypothetical. So,
that was hypothetical. So who else what's your top three then? We got two of them. What's that third key component?
Well, pretty much.
I know it can vary according to business too.
Yes, absolutely. But I believe in the service industry, with an assistant, you can get to 100K on your own between the two of you with a good assistant. You absolutely can, because we still want to be a lean marketing business machine. And you don't want to just pile on all these people and complexity that you're not ready for. And then that just becomes a huge bottleneck. So I'm not a fan of hustling. Sorry if that's your word. I always say hustling is not sexy. It's not cute. Don't hustle.
It's not cute.
It's right. Yeah. So we don't hustle, but we're strategic in deciding what actions need to be in place and how can you leverage. Again, it goes back to having a methodology. If you've ever given a talk, you have a signature talk and you give that talk over and over, it's much better if you repeat the talk instead of getting a new audience. You get better and better at the same talk versus having to customize a talk every single time. So it's the same thing in business. Have the same methodology and then get new clients.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Michelle mentioned that you spent great time in service, but now you're in the product side. Mm-hmm. And we talked a little bit about that. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing product wise. And I'm just going to kind of sit and listen.
You're going to sit in this. Oh no, you're in the conversation.
Because his wife is my best friend.
Oh, and I know how old you are.
We're all the same age.
So, without telling what the new product is, on June 22nd, we're having a Menno Lounge And it's all about the men who love us mostly through it. So if that's not a teaser, so all the dudes are coming. So Michelle, you should come and bring your Tony too. But
Okay.
so the scoop is I lost my mind in COVID last year. No, I'm just teasing. But honestly, I felt that, I felt blessed enough to be healthy. My family made it through healthy. And in a situation like this, okay, what is God here to teach me? What is the lesson I am supposed to learn? What am I supposed to take away from this experience if I'm blessed enough to get through it? So I had a lot of quiet time, and it came to me last July. And oh, by the way, when COVID first happened, all my kids were coming home in the beginning, and I am cooking and making brownies and cookies and eating brownies and cookies. And being a 56-year-old woman, it starts piling around on my middle. And so I'm like, I don't like that. So I started making these healthy bars with all kinds of good things like flaxseed, all natural, cacao nibs, all these almond butter, all these incredible things so I could get my menopause middle back in check. And the first bars I made were terrible. They were awful, I have to admit. They were really bad, super dry. And then I started mixing some other things, and I started noticing them disappearing out of the cabinet and the refrigerators because my husband was eating them. And that's how I knew I was onto something. So I made these bars to improve my immune system, get healthy, strong, lose my menopause middle. Then I shared them with some girlfriends, and they're like, oh yeah, we need more of those. So I turned this recipe into a menopause energy bar called Bossa Bars, because for many women, they don't want to talk about menopause. They are menopausing in shame, in silence. And so now that you've known me a little bit here, Tony, we're turning menopause upside down and making it an empowering time of life. So you can go from shame to menopause. Can you see my arm? I mean, like menopause like a boss. So that's why the bars are called Bossa Bars.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to try one of those bars. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm ready. So there it is. So tell us this, Julie, if someone wanted to get in contact with you, if someone wanted to order some bars, if someone wanted to, pursue, if we have some ladies out there wanted to pursue coaching with your team, tell us how do we get in contact with you and those type of things.
Yes. Well, if you just enter my name, you'll find me pretty much everywhere. But if you go to juliegordonwhite.com, you'll go to my coaching website. I love it when people friend me or connect with me on LinkedIn, and then we can take it off of LinkedIn from there. So I would say if you can search me on LinkedIn, that would be probably the best spot. If you want to try my Bossa Bars, BOSSA bars plural.com, Bossa Bars. Tony, I know you want to use the promo code MENOBOSS10 so you can save 10% when you buy your bar.
I'm all about that. Right. Yeah, I got it.
MENOBOSS10, save 10%, and you can try the bars. And my husband still steals all of the real bars that we have now. All the husbands love them. So, and no, they don't give you hot flashes or anything. Good, healthy, yummy food. So LinkedIn, bossabars.com. I'm happy to speak to anyone, to have a conversation anytime. Serving women, that's my calling in life. My company, the coaching company, came is in the silent retreat from God, literally in my mind. And so I'm always open to conversations anytime with men, occasionally, but mostly women.
Gotcha. So speaking of that, so now we're coming up. Man, this hour went by really fast. Like I knew it would.
Yep. Always.
I would just like for you to just share any last words of wisdom you'd like to leave with the Real Money Coach audience, the women and maybe a few men. But what would you like to leave as last words of wisdom, advice, passion, whatever you wanted to say?
Yeah. The thing I want all whoops. I think I'm the only one here.
No.
Well,
no, we're here.
I can't see. Oh, you just went all me. Okay. Okay, got it. I should have. Yeah. Hi. So this is what I want to say, and this is for all the women and the men in our audience. If you are an entrepreneur, please, please charge what you're worth. You cannot help people if you undercharge. They won't show up. They won't listen. They won't do the work that you know you can do with them, and you won't love the work, and so you won't stick to it. So please charge what you're worth. I know that God, the universe, wants us to be abundant, because when we are abundant, we can do beautiful things for other people. So it's important that you show up fully in your work, charge what you're worth, and then watch how your whole world just becomes magical. That's what I'd share.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie, for being with us. Awesome. Michelle, thank you for introducing us to Julie, introducing her to the Real Money Coach. It's been a very rich show. I took a lot of notes. I always take some notes. I got a lot of notes tonight. I got some great things. Strength overused will become your weakness. I
knew you'd like that. I know that's yours.
Yeah, that's my takeaway. That's my takeaway tonight. And Michelle, you've been around Julie a lot. I mean,
yes.
Well, what was your takeaway for tonight? I mean, if you had to pick one, I know that's probably hard. And anyone in the chat box, if you have a takeaway for tonight, put it in the chat box.
They're saying Julie was dropping some jewels.
I saw Chad said that.
Yeah, Julie always dropping jewels. The client love triangle is always a good one of mine. You know, you gotta love what you do. You know, you gotta love the people you serve. You know, and serve them. You know, your best, basically. And Julie and shifting mindsets, the disbeliefs that you don't even know you have that's holding you back is probably the biggest lessons I learned from Julie. Yeah. Because you be all up there in your mind, and like she be like, girl,
you thought this, right?
Yeah. So, you know, Julie and her helping me shift my mindset on even what I wanted, because apparently I wasn't dreaming big enough, but she made me aware of how to dream bigger, you know, and the things that brought me joy, and do the things that brought me joy. So those are some of the like nuggets that I will always cherish from my time working with Julie. And I'm not done working with Julie, because, you know, So those are my nuggets. If anybody needs a business coach, Julie is it. I promise you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, listen, I have been thoroughly enriched tonight. If you're watching this, if you're watching it or you're repeating watching it, share it on your Facebook, share it, share the YouTube, become part of our Facebook community. We are going to continue to bring you the best of the best. And as you saw tonight, Julie was awesome. Michelle was awesome as always. And thank you, Alice. Alice said this has been an intellectual venture into the business world. Great growth. Thank you, Alice, for that. And that's what we do. That's what we do at the Real Money Coach. We continue to bring you the best of the best. And if you know someone, let us know. Email us at the info@the-real money coach. If you have a question or you see something on one of our shows, email us, info@the-real money coach. If you want to get together, you want to have an appointment, you want to have a conversation with me, you guys know you can email, or even better yet, go to TonyJacksonAppointment.com. Get on my schedule. That's the best way to get me. Get on my schedule, TonyJacksonAppointment.com. And listen, we want to just thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for tuning in from wherever you are tuning in from, all over the country. You got people from Florida to California to, Maine, to all parts of the United States. So we thank you for being a faithful listener, viewer of the Real Money Coach. Remember, stay safe. I'm still wearing my mask. So stay safe. God bless you. And we'll see you next week. Same place, same time.